press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, we have been studying about the chapter transportation in animals and plants, and so far we have learnt about the transporting system, right? So what the blood vessels, about the blood components of blood, right? So let us continue our study with this transportation in animals and plants. Okay, so now let us start a major and most important organ in our body, that is heart. Okay, so it is an organ which beats continuously to act as a pump for the transport of blood which carries substances with it, right? So heart is the major organ which works continuously all day, all night, all the way. So can you imagine a pump, right, which works continuously without coming to a repair? Impossible, right? So heart is a pump which works continuously throughout our life. Okay, and when this heart stops working or when it stops beating, so that's when we say that we are not alive anymore. Okay, so this heart is an organ which beats continuously to act as a pump, and this carries the substances with it. Okay, so where is this heart located exactly? So this heart is located in the chest cavity with its lower tip slightly tilted towards the left. Okay, so when you fold your fingers inwards, okay, so if you fold your fingers inwards, okay, so this forms a fist. Okay, so this is almost the size of your heart, right? So this is the size of your heart, and the heart is located at the left side. Okay, it's slightly tilted towards the left side of our chest cavity. Okay, and this heart basically has 4 chambers. Now why does this heart has 4 chambers? Because we have oxygenated blood, we also have deoxygenated blood, right? So deoxygenated blood is the one which carries carbon dioxide with it, right? It is kind of the impure blood, what we can say. Okay, so all the cells work untiringly, right? So this contains the waste product carbon dioxide. Okay, and that has to be ejected from our body. Okay, so this carbon dioxide get mixed with the blood. Okay, we also have blood which is filled with oxygen. Okay, so when we inhale the air, atmospheric air, which is oxygen exactly, right? So that oxygen get mixed with the blood. Okay, so because blood contains the pigment hemoglobin, which is it attracts the oxygen. Okay, so basically this blood contains oxygen, that is the pure blood. It also contains the carbon dioxide. Okay, that is the waste produced from the different cells. Okay, so what happens, we do not need carbon dioxide in our body, right? Our blood needs only oxygen. So this carbon dioxide, that is the impure blood, and we also have the pure blood. Okay, so this pure and impure blood, that is oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, should not get mixed, right? For this reason our heart has 4 chambers. Okay, and these 4 chambers, as you can see here, this is our heart, right? So this has 4 chambers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so our heart has 4 chambers, in which, see, the 2 upper chambers are called atria and the lower chambers are called ventricles. Okay, so these 2 structures, okay, so these 2 chambers, okay, so these are called atria and the below 2 chambers are called ventricles. Okay, so to the heart, this is the right. Okay, so this is the right atria, right ventricle, left atria and left ventricle. Okay, so these are the 4 chambers of heart. Okay, and the upper chambers are the atria, below ones are the ventricles. Okay, this is the right atria, right ventricle, left atria and left ventricle. Okay, so this is the structure of heart. You can see this is size of a fist, and this is, okay, the tip of this heart is slightly tilted towards the left. Okay, this is found in the chest cavity. Okay, so this partition between the chambers helps to avoid mixing up of blood rich in oxygen with the blood rich in carbon dioxide, right? Like I said earlier, so to prevent the mixing of this blood, we need the partition. Okay, so now let us see why, how and how this partition helps in not mixing the blood. Okay, so what happens? So this is the structure of our heart. Now let us see how exactly the blood flows. Okay, so these are the structures of heart. Here we have a structure called vena cava. Okay, so the deoxygenated blood. Okay, so you can see it is in two colors. Okay, so here we have blue color and also we have red color, right? So the blue one, okay, so these two chambers, receives the deoxygenated blood, or we can say the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so this vena cava receives the deoxygenated blood. Okay, so what is deoxygenated blood? Blood without oxygen. Okay, so the blood which has more carbon dioxide, which is impure. Okay, so this vena cava receives the impure blood, okay, from all the cells. Okay, after working, what is the waste produced? Okay, so that is the carbon dioxide, and that is received by this vena cava. Okay, the impure blood from the chest cavity, from the different upper body sections. Okay, that is retrieved from the vena cava, and here we also have a opening here. Okay, so this is the inferior vena cava. Okay, from the parts, that is the below abdomen parts, from the limbs, from the abdomen, from the limbs. Okay, so the blood from those parts, from our lower parts, is received by this inferior vena cava, and from blood, impure blood from our superior, from the upper body parts is received by the superior vena cava. Okay, so here these two carries the impure blood. Okay, and this sends blood to impure blood or the deoxygenated blood to the right atria. Okay, so from here right atria, here we have a valve which gets open, and from this right atria the blood flows to the right ventricle. Alright, and from here the blood moves to the lungs. Okay, so from here the blood moves from the pulmonary artery. Okay, so why is it called artery? Okay, we have studied the blood vessels. While studying, we have studied artery and veins. Okay, the arteries carries the blood away from the heart, and veins carry the blood towards the heart. Okay, so here deoxygenated blood. Okay, the blood which carries the more of carbon dioxide, the impure one. Okay, so that is received by this pulmonary artery. Okay, from which the blood goes to the lungs. Okay, and there in the lungs, what is the function of exactly lungs? Here the gaseous exchange occurs, right? So the blood what lungs receive is carbon dioxide rich. Okay, so that is where from where we exhale carbon dioxide, right? While exhalation, okay, we exhale the carbon dioxide from the lungs. Okay, so lungs removes the carbon dioxide, right? So and that would be that blood would be rich in oxygen. Okay, when the carbon dioxide is removed from the blood in the lungs, okay, so that blood is now rich with oxygen. Okay, so now that is the pure blood, right? So that blood from these pulmonary veins. Okay, so the veins are the blood vessels which carry the blood towards the heart. Okay, so the blood from, okay, so the pulmonary arteries are the blood vessels which carry the blood away from the heart. Okay, so blood from these two right atria and right ventricle is carried from this pulmonary artery to the lungs. Okay, and from those lungs the blood is carried by these pulmonary veins towards the heart. Okay, now from these veins the blood is carried inside the heart again, sent to the left atria. From there again, from this valve it is sent to this left ventricle. Okay, and from here, okay, this is the pure blood. Okay, see the blood is red in color here because it meant saying that it is in pure in color. Sorry, red in color, which is pure, which is more in oxygen, oxygenated rich blood. Okay, so this blood from this left ventricle is sent to the aorta. Okay, so this aorta is the largest blood vessel, and from this aorta the pure blood is carried to all the parts of our body. Okay, so this is how the blood flows in our body, right? So let me repeat it once again. Okay, listen carefully. So these are the vena cava. Okay, so this is the structure. Okay, so this is the superior vena cava and this is the inferior vena cava. Okay, from these two, okay, this vena cava, superior vena cava carries the blood from the upper parts of our body, that is maybe from the chest, okay, from the lungs, right? So the deoxygenated blood, basically remember this vena cava carries the deoxygenated blood, which means the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, now this vena cava carries the blood from our limbs, abdomen parts, right? So from those parts, this inferior vena cava carries the deoxygenated blood. Okay, hence the color shown is blue here. Okay, this is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, from this vena cava, the blood is carried to this right atria, and from this right atria, the blood is sent to right ventricle. And now from this ventricle, this is the impure blood. The blood which is rich in carbon dioxide is sent to the pulmonary artery. Okay. Why it is sent to the artery? Because arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart. Okay. Now here the blood is carried away from the heart to the lungs. Where the blood goes now? From this pulmonary artery, blood is carried and sent to the lungs, and that is the lungs, that is a place where gaseous exchange occur. When I am saying it is impure blood that is rich in carbon dioxide, that carbon dioxide is exchanged, okay. So that carbon dioxide is released, is exhaled from the lungs to the atmosphere, right. So when we are exhaling, when we are releasing, when we are removing the carbon dioxide from the blood, now the blood is rich in oxygen, okay. So now that pure blood is obtained from this lungs and sent to pulmonary veins, okay. So veins are the blood vessels which carry the blood inside or towards the heart, okay. So this pulmonary veins carries the blood inside to the left atria, and from this left atria it is sent to the left ventricle, and from this ventricle, that is the pure blood, now this is carried to the blood vessel aorta, okay. So from this aorta, you can see from these openings, this aorta, the pure blood is sent to the all body parts, okay. Now this is how the blood flow happens, okay. So this is how transportation of blood, okay. Now here you can see the pure blood is taken, okay, sorry, impure blood is taken, sent to lungs. From there impure blood is pure blood is taken in, and that pure blood again is sent to the all body parts, okay. Now there is kind of transportation, right. So this is what we are studying, that is transportation in animals. This is now here the circulatory system, okay. So here you can see the circulation, okay. So the blood vessels and blood plays a major role in the circulation, and of course the heart is the most important organ which plays a major role in the blood circulation, okay. Now what is heartbeat, right? So the walls of the chambers of heart are made up of muscles, and these muscles contract and relax rhythmically, okay. So the muscles, okay, so our body, our heart, our organ is made up of muscles, okay. So there is a contraction and relaxation rhythmically, okay. So that rhythmic contraction followed by its relaxation is called or constitute a heartbeat, okay. Now this heartbeat can be measured by using this stethoscope, okay. We all have seen this, right. So whenever we are ill, whenever we are feeling not unwell, okay, that's when we go to doctor. So what does the doctor measures? He first sees our heartbeat, okay. So that's how he checks, like see, these are the ear plugs and this is the diaphragm, okay, the tube like structure, okay. So this is the structure of this stethoscope, right. So this is the chest piece, okay. So this is a stethoscope, and this is using this we measure or we help to know the heartbeat, okay. Now this rhythmic beating of various chambers of the heart maintain the circulation of blood and transport of substance to the different parts of the body. And now all the animals or all the living organisms do not have the circulatory system like us, okay. So animals like sponges and hydra do not possess, they do not possess heart, they do not possess blood vessels and everything, okay. They do not have some 4-chambered heart or something like that, okay. So there is no a system, okay. So in animals like example sponges and hydra, there is no circulatory system, but there is circulation of blood. So how does that happen? So these animals, when they live in water, right, so the water in which they live in brings food and oxygen as it enters their body, okay, and the water carries away the waste materials and carbon dioxide as it moves out, okay. So thus these animals do not have this circulatory system. Okay, the water in which they live, that only carries food and oxygen, and that only when the waste products are released from their body into the water, so in that waste the carbon dioxide is released out. Okay, so all the animals do not have a heart, do not have the circulatory system like this. Okay, so that is that this is about the circulatory system. Okay, one of the transportation method of blood in our body. Now let us see what is excretion, right? So when our cells perform their functions, okay, so our cell is the basic structural unit, right? So each and every cell in our body present, functions extremely, like entirely it functions, right? So those functions, when they are functioning, when they are doing their jobs, okay, so the waste products are removed. Okay, the certain waste products are released, and these are toxic. Okay, so this is the waste. This should not be present in our body. This has to be released out. Okay, so how does this is removed? Okay, so that is the process. Okay, so the process of removing this waste produced in the cells of the living organism is called excretion. Okay, so the carbon dioxide is one of the waste, right? So that is released out from the exhalation from the lungs. Okay, when we exhale, we release out carbon dioxide. So okay, so likewise there are many more waste products produced in our body. Okay, when we are saying that is a waste, it is toxic, it is harmful in our body to remain in itself. Okay, that's why we need to remove or release out the waste products. Okay, so this process of removal of waste products in the cells of the living organisms is called excretion. All right, and the parts involved in the excretion form the excretory system. Okay, likewise the parts involved in the circulation are called circulatory system. Okay, this heart, right? So this heart, blood vessels, these constitute a circulatory system. Likewise the parts, which are all the parts, we'll study further. Okay, so those parts are which are involved in the excretion, that makes a excretory system. Okay, now let us see the excretory system in humans. So the waste which is present in the blood has to be removed from the body. Yes, of course, we cannot keep the waste materials in our body. Likewise, like when, for example, whatever the waste is present in our houses, we do not keep it inside only, right? We do not preserve it and keep it. We just either throw in dustbins or we'll put somewhere else. We just throw it. We don't keep the waste in our houses. Okay. Likewise, when we are not keeping the waste in our houses, how can we keep the waste and unrequired or harmful or toxic substances in our body, right? Even our body need to release out the waste products. Okay, so there is a mechanism to filter the blood. Okay, now this is done by the blood capillaries in the kidneys. Okay, now here there is a one more organ which helps in the transportation. Okay, that is in the excretion mainly, right? So excretion, what's excretion? Excretion is a process from which the waste materials is removed. Okay, now that is done by these kidneys. Okay, so when the blood reaches the two kidneys, it contains both useful and harmful substances. Okay, so blood is the fluid material which transports, which moves all over our body, right? So when the blood reaches to this organ, to this kidneys, what happens? This blood carries both useful materials and also harmful substances. Now here what happens? In these kidneys, the useful substances are absorbed back into the blood, and the waste dissolved in the water are removed as urine. Okay, so the whatever, when the blood reaches to the kidneys, which contains both useful and harmful. Okay, useful we need, right? So the harmful materials, which are the toxic, which we are wanting to throw it out. Okay, so that is released in the water. Okay, dissolved in the water and removed as urine. Okay, and from these kidneys the urine goes into the urinary bladder through tube-like structures called ureters. Okay, here we can see. Okay, so these are the kidneys. Okay, and from these kidneys the waste material, that is where the urine formed. Okay, now so that is transported to this. See, again we are saying the word transport, right? So this is all the transportation in the animals. Now the urine formed in the kidneys is transported to the urinary bladder through these tubes. Okay, so these tube-like structures are the ureters. Okay, so the kidney, here is the urine formed. Okay, here is kidneys are the structures which absorbs the useful materials which we need, and the harmful is released in the water, dissolved in water and formed as urine. Okay, that is a waste that we release out, right? So that urine is transported through these ureters to the urinary bladder. Okay, and sent to, okay, so it is stored in this bladder here. Okay, the urine is stored in the bladder and is passed out through the opening. Okay, it is passed out through the urinary bladder opening at the end of this muscular tube called urethra. Okay, this is the structure of urethra, and here is the opening. From this the urine is passed out or released out. Okay, so this is how human excretory system works. Okay, we have kidney. Okay, here we have kidney where urine is formed and transported through this ureter to the bladder, and this is where this is where the urine gets filled. Okay, you might feel sometimes urine is formed here and sometimes it's very urgent for you to go and pee, right? So that's when our bladder gets full. Okay, so when our bladder gets full, this is where our urine gets stored, right? So when it is full of urine, okay, so that's when we feel very urgent to pee. Okay, so that's when we release out the urine through this urethra. Okay, through this urinary opening. Now this is about the human excretory system, and this kidney. Okay, now this kidney, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra, these forms the excretory system. Okay, likewise the blood vessels, heart forms the circulatory system. These four parts, that is kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, urethra. So these are the parts involved in the excretion. Hence these form a excretory system. Okay, an adult human being normally passes about 1 to 1.8 liter of urine in one day. Okay, so that's why we keep on saying, to drink more and more water, right? So because whatever the waste material is, whatever the toxic substance is, that get dissolves in the water only, right? So now that water which is having the harmful substances, which is having the toxic materials, that is formed into urine. Okay, so that is released out further, which is toxic substance, and this our urine consists of 95% of water, 2.5% of urea and 2.5% of other waste products. Okay, this is about the human urine. Okay, what does human urine consist? 95% of water, and majorly it contains urea and also some other substances, whereas yes, aquatic animals like fishes excrete waste, cell waste as ammonia. Okay, so remember, in humans we excrete waste materials as urea. Okay, and of course the water, the unwanted water and other substances are also released, but majorly our urine consists of urea, and the aquatic animals like fishes, they excrete in the form of ammonia. Okay, and also other animals like birds, lizards, snakes, okay, they excrete a semi-solid. Okay, so that white colored compound is nothing but the uric acid. Okay, remember the aquatic animals, they excrete in the form of ammonia. This birds, snake, okay, lizard and everything, they excrete in the form of uric acid, and we are excreta, our urine consists of urea. Okay, so this we has to know, right? So this is about the human excretory system. Okay, and we also sweat, right? So sweat is also something from which our toxic substances get released. Okay, so when we sweat more, that is sweat means what? The water from our body is releasing out. Okay, and when do we sweat more? When we are feeling hot. In summers usually we sweat more, or whenever we are feeling hot, we sweat. Okay, so this sweating causes cooling effect. Okay, so when when we are feeling hot, the water, the water which our sweat consists of water and salts. Okay, so when they are releasing out from our body to the atmosphere, okay, so it has a feeling of it, it consists of cooling effect. It causes a cooling effect. Okay, so that is why when we are feeling hot or in summers we sweat, because sweating causes cooling effect. Okay, so that is about the excretion in humans. Okay, so this is all about the transportation, transportation of blood, of waste products in humans. Okay, we have studied about the circulatory system and also the excretory system in humans. Now let us see the transport of substances in plants. Okay, so all till now we have studied about animals. Now let us see about the plants. Okay, now tell me, have you ever wondered how water and nutrients observed by the root are transported to the leaves? Okay, so this is one of the basic questions you can get to know, right? So this is what happens when there is a plant. When we are having a plant, we are watering the plant to the soil, where the roots are present. Basically, we do not water to the leaves. Okay, we water to the soil, the area where the roots are present. Okay, now what do you think, what happens? Okay, so that water reaches all the parts of the plant, right? So what do you think, what is the reason, or how the water get absorbed through the roots and reaches to all parts of the plant? Okay, and one more thing, how is the food prepared by the leaves carried to the parts which cannot make food? Okay, in our first chapter we have studied leaves are the ones which prepares the food, utilizing the chlorophyll pigment present in them, the sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, everything, they prepare the food. Okay, so the leaves are the one which prepares the food. Okay, but all the parts of the plant also need food, like the stem, roots and other branches, right? Flowers, fruits and everything, they all need the food. Okay, now how you think, like leaves are the one which prepares the food, what do you think, what is the reason behind the food is transported to different parts of the body? Okay, now all this, by the end of this transportation of substances in plants, while discussing this we will get to know about what exactly happens. Okay, now let us see about the transport of water and minerals in the plants, right? So the plants absorb water and minerals by the roots. Yes, of course, roots are the ones which absorb the water we put and the minerals and the nutrients we apply, or the minerals and nutrients present in the soil, because soil already has some nutrients and minerals which are absorbed by these roots, and these roots have root hair present in them which increase the surface area of the root for the absorption of water and minerals, nutrient dissolved in the water. Okay, so those roots are the ones which absorb the water and nutrients, we all know that, but there are root hair present in the roots. Okay, when you take out a plant, when you pluck out a plant, when you see the roots, you can see a tiny hair like structures. Okay, so that are nothing but the root hair. Okay, so these root hairs are present to increase the surface area so that the plant can receive more and more of water, so that it can receive more and more of nutrients and minerals. Okay, so that's the reason, to increase the surface area of absorption, these root hair are present, and these root hair is in contact with the water present between the soil particles. Okay, so these root hairs are the reason because of which root absorbs the water from the soil. Okay, now these plants have pipe-like vessels to transport water and minerals from the soil. Okay, so now here we have got the answer for our questions what we have arised. Okay, so the plants have some pipe-like vessels. Okay, they have some pipe-like connections. We will study what are those pipe-like vessels. Okay, so these vessels are made up of special cells, okay, forming the vascular tissue. Okay, so a plant contains some pipe-like connections. Okay, so what is the function of pipe? So when we connect the pipe to a tap or something, so that is why the water moves. So that pipe forms a transporting media, right? So the now pipe is the transporting media from which the water moves from through the different through the other part, right? So these plants also contain some pipe-like vessels, pipe-like thing. Okay, so from which there is a movement of food, from which the like water, minerals, nutrients move. Okay, so those pipe-like connections are nothing but forming the vascular tissue. Okay, so those pipes forms the vascular tissue. And what is a tissue? Tissue is a group of cells that perform specialized function in an organism. Okay, so what is the basic unit of our living organism? That is the cell. Okay, so we have so million thousands of cells, right? So these cells together form a structure called tissue. Okay, so what is tissue? It is nothing but the group of cells. okay, which come together and they perform only one similar function, only one specialized function. Okay, so that is the tissue. All right, and this vascular tissue for the transport of water and nutrients in the plant is called the xylem. Okay, so the whatever water we apply to the soil which is absorbed by the root, that is sent to all parts of the plant by the xylem. Okay, we have got the answer for the first question, right? We have asked, how does the water reaches from the roots to the different parts of the plant. Okay, so here xylem is the structure. Okay, so the xylem is the one which which absorbs the water and transport it to all parts of the body. Okay, so this xylem is the water conducting tissue. Okay, water and minerals. Okay, this is what xylem is helpful for. Okay, this is the pipe like vessel what we are talking about. Okay, so this is the thing which absorbs the water, okay, and send it to the all parts of the body. Okay, so this is about the water. Okay, now the food prepared from the leaves is transported to the different parts. Okay, so now that food is transported by this phloem. Okay, now so this xylem and phloem forms the vascular tissue, or also vascular tissue or conducting tissue, both are the same. Okay, we can call both vascular and conducting tissue, right? So this xylem is the water conducting tissue which transports the water from the root to the different parts of the plant, and phloem is the food conducting tissue which transports the food prepared from the leaves to different parts of the plant. Okay, so this is about the xylem and phloem. Okay, so these are the transporting tissues, or we can say conducting tissues present in the plants. Okay, so this xylem and phloem transport. Okay, these are the transporting systems. Okay, so these transport organic substances, okay, or any other substances in the plants. All right, so you can see here these are the root hair. Okay, so this is the root and this is the extension, that is the root hair, and these are the soil particles. Alright, so this root hair is present to increase the surface area. Okay, and here this is the plant. Okay, so these are the xylem vessels present in the plant. Okay, now this root hair, when this absorbs the water, is sent to this xylem, and this xylem transports the water from this root structure to the above plant parts. See, we can see here is a tree, and here we can clearly see there is this blue arrows you can see. Okay, so these carry the water from roots to the above parts of the plant, okay, or a tree. Okay, so the roots, the water is carried from this roots to the xylem. Okay, so you cannot see the xylem present here, but yes, of course xylem and phloem present inside these plants. That's why the transportation happens. Okay, now these red color lines show that food prepared in the leaves. Okay, so that is carried. Okay, so you can see the arrow mark downwards. Okay, so the food prepared here is carried to the stem, to the branch, and also to the leaves, roots. Okay, so this is the xylem and phloem. Okay, so this is how transportation of plants occurs. Okay, and there is one more phenomena in plants we can see, that is the transpiration. Okay, so now what is the transpiration? Plants absorb minerals, nutrients from the soil, and they not all the water absorbed by plants is utilized. Okay, so whatever the water we pour to the soil, to the root, plants absorb. Okay, but all the water is not utilized. Okay, so likewise, like our body also. So whatever the water we drink, okay, our body wholly does not absorb all the water. Okay, few of the water, okay, it gets released out, right? So the same thing happens with the plants also. Okay, whatever the plants absorb the water, not all the water is absorbed. Okay, and this water from the plants is released out. Okay, so the water evaporates through the stomata present on the surface of the leaves by the process of transpiration. Okay, so the stomata are the pore or tiny pores present in the leaves, tiny pore-like structures present on the leaves where the gaseous exchange occurs, and of course this stomata helps in the transpiration. So what is exactly transpiration? The water present in the plants evaporates to the atmosphere. Okay, evaporates through the stomata. Okay, so stomata are the structures in the plants which are responsible for both gaseous exchange and also transpiration. Okay, so the water evaporates to the stomata present on the surface of leaves by the process of transpiration. Okay, transpiration is nothing but the process by which the water in the plants, okay, evaporates into the atmosphere. Okay, so that is transpiration, and this evaporation of water from the leaves generates a suction pull which can pull water to great heights in tall trees. Okay, as sweating causes cooling in our body, the same way even transpiration also cools the plant. Okay, so this is one of the phenomena occurs in plants. Okay, so this is about the transpiration in the plants. Okay, this we can see in all the plants, but in some of the plants which have thick stems, okay, for example cactus in desert regions, there is no less transpiration seen. Okay, so because they have a no thick coat. Okay, so and they already do not get most of the water, right? What is transpiration exactly? The excess water, okay, the water which is not utilized by the plants is released out. Okay, but in the deserted regions or the places where plants do not get most of the water, there hardly they get water and there is no water for them to transpire. Okay, so the plants basically remove or release out the water in the provide the process of transpiration. Okay, so this is about the chapter, this is all about the chapter transportation in animals and plants, right? So in this chapter we have studied how transportation happens. Okay, what is exactly transportation? Moving something from one place to another, in simple words, that is what transportation means. Okay, in the transportation of animals we have seen about the circulatory system and excretory system. Okay, in the circulatory system we have studied about the blood components and what are the functions of those components of blood, about the blood vessels, about the heart. Okay, so we have seen about heart having the 4 chambers, and to prevent the mixing up of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, the heart has 4 chambers basically. Okay, and there is one more transportation system, that is excretion. Okay, so whatever the waste materials produced from the cells has to be removed out because they are toxic and harmful, right? So that removal of waste from our body is called excretion, and the parts involved in the excretion are kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. Okay, all these 4 structures forms the excretory system, right? So this we all have studied. And in the transportation of plants we have seen the xylem and phloem are the ones. Okay, they are the connections from which food transportation occurs and also water. Okay, so this xylem is basically the water conducting tissue and phloem is the food conducting tissue. Okay, so the xylem present in the plants carries the water from the roots to the different parts of the plant, and the phloem carries the food. Okay, the food is prepared in the leaves, right? So this phloem carries the food present in the leaves to the different parts of the plant, right? So basically xylem and phloem are the conducting or the vascular tissues, okay, which transport substances. Okay, and there's one more phenomenon, that is transpiration, that is nothing but the process from which the extra water, okay, the water which is not utilized by the plants is released out to the atmosphere by the evaporation. Okay, so that whole process is nothing but the transpiration. Okay, with this discussion the chapter transportation of animals and plants completes. Okay, thank you.